Hi, my name is Nick Morris. I'd like to welcome you to Tech Talk, sponsored by Geico. Today, we're going to talk about exhaust. There's a lot of weird things going on with exhaust. Um, let's start right where it comes into the head. So, if you ever notice on a properly ported cylinder head, the exhaust port is not port matched to the exhaust. Reason for that is one of the things we're going to talk about with exhaust is reversion. What happens is during valve overlap, it creates a vacuum inside of the cylinder because it's sucking in the intake charge, but the exhaust valve is still open just a little bit, and it creates a vacuum inside of that cylinder and sucks some of the exhaust gas back into the cylinder. Obviously, when it does that, you don't get a good clean burn, and you can lose horsepower that way. So the reason that they don't port match cylinder head exhaust ports to the exhaust is because that little lip right there keeps the gases, all of the gases, from going rushing back into that cylinder and contaminating the charge. Another thing with exhaust is a lot of people like to take baffles out. I highly recommend that you do not. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of velocity, but that's one of the driving things in exhaust. Obviously, you want to get air in quicker, you want to get air out quicker. So the thought process being the baffle's in the way of getting it out quicker, take it out. That's just not the case. The fact of the matter is that baffle is kind of like sticking your thumb over the end of a garden hose. When you do that, the water flows out faster. Well, so does the exhaust. So that baffle actually creates velocity in the exhaust and actually helps to get those gases out faster. Now, there are different types of baffles. There are, performance baffles, quiet baffles, and then the regular baffles that come with them. And those are tuned by exhaust companies for whatever effect that they say that they're looking for, performance or noise, whatever. Um, Another component of exhaust is your mufflers. Obviously, you have a header, comes from the head all the way down to where the muffler begins. The muffler is where you get 99% of your sound. You may get some lope out of a cam, you may get a little bit of tone out of a header, but for the most part, almost all of the sound that you're going to hear from your bike is going to come from the design and shape of the mufflers. And they can sound all kinds of different ways. And again, and it's going to also depend on what kind of bike you have. Obviously, if you have a liquid cooled V Rod or a street, it's going to sound a lot different than a twin cam, and a twin cam is going to sound different than an Evo, and so on. So the motor obviously plays a part in that, but the mufflers is where you get the sound. So if you take two similar motors, put two different mufflers on them, you're going to get two different sounds. Easy enough. um, Another thing to look out for with exhaust is the length of the headers. Obviously, you don't want them too long. You don't want them too short either. Either one of those situations can rob power. The ideal exhaust is an equal length header. So the front cylinder and the rear cylinder head pipes are the same length all the way down to the end at the muffler. Um, Ideally, for horsepower, you want to run a 2-into-1 exhaust. It helps to equalize the pulses from the exhaust, and it's just a far more efficient system than true dual or 2-into-2 system, and just keeps everything running right, and it's a lot easier to tune. But when you have different length headers, it can kind of make the bike a little bit of a pain in the butt to tune. Um, there's another thing with crossovers too. There's just all kinds of nightmares with exhaust and tuning. So sometimes when we say, hey, you might need a different exhaust, it's probably because that exhaust is robbing horsepower or making it hard to tune based on the cubic inches of your motor. Some are more restrictive than others. So just a good idea to always check with the tuners down in the service department before you purchase an exhaust system, unless you're just going for sound or looks. If you're going for high performance, then it's best to check with those guys because they really know what they're talking about, and they've used a lot of the exhaust systems on the market. So if you have any questions, you can leave comments in the section below, or you can send me an email at nick@tobaccoroadhd.com. Thanks.